Salim from nanoSkunkWorkX, Casey Lau representing Inari Amertron, and C.S. Leong from Intel. And guiding this discussion, we have Timothy Chen from Archie Capital as our moderator for this roundtable discussion. And once again, thank you very much to our esteemed lineup of panelists for sharing with us your time and your thoughts and expertise on this subject matter. I'd like to pass the floor to the capable hands of Timothy Chen, your moderator for today. Over to you, Timothy.
Hi, welcome everybody. Should we all sit down? Thank you. Today I'm your moderator for, I think, a very exciting session today. What we call a trillion-dollar industry, meeting the growing demand of semiconductors. And today we have a number of luminaries here. And so in a bit, I'll let everyone introduce themselves. And I'm going to ask some specific questions that we've all talked as a group together today. But let me talk a little bit about myself. I've been in the semiconductor industry for 25 plus years. I have some relationships with a lot of people here, K.S., CK at ARM. In the last 10 years, I've sold 2 companies to Intel. One was Via Telecom in 2015 that formed the CDN portion of Intel. And another was a company called Centaur that now forms Intel's Austin Design Center. So I want to kick it off and talk to you. Can you introduce yourself and talk about yourself?
Yes. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you for the invitation from KL20. My name is CK. I'm the president of ASEAN and Taiwan. ARM is a company for global silicon IP licensing. We're in the business for more than 3 decades now. We begin from a really small village and farm in Cambridge, UK. Don't miss out, right? This is Cambridge, UK, not Cambridge in the US. So if you look at ARM, we are everywhere. Everywhere when there's a computing, when there's an AI needed, we will be there. So our presence is from IoT consumer products all the way to automotive devices and data center as well. So if you just do some math, in the last couple of quarters, we are shipping more than 30 billion ARM-based silicons collectively in probably like couple quarters. So I always joke to myself, maybe we are the only company selling more devices than toilet papers. Yeah, so that's an introduction of me and ARM.
CK, thank you very much. I want to give you some more background on CK and about ARM. ARM started out in England, got invested by SoftBank, and I want to congratulate CK and ARM on the successful IPO last year, and literally in the last couple of months doubling in stock price, right? This valuation over $130 billion US is quite impressive. But the next gentleman here is, I'll let him talk, is someone that I respected for a very long time. Never met him before until today, but a luminary in Malaysia, starting out with Intel. So, PY, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay. I have worked for semiconductor industry for 21 years. I would say I'm the first batch of semiconductor engineers. In 72, I joined NS. Okay. After that, I joined Intel for 21 years, start as an engineering manager until the last job was Asia Pacific corporate VP in charge of Asia Pacific operation. So today we are talking about $1 trillion market potential, right? Trillion. I believe semiconductor, okay, especially in Malaysia, okay, we have 50 years foundation in this area since 72 until now, 70, 71, 72 until now, okay? So as of today, we all know we are still talking about this business still in assembly and test operation. So it's a time, we all say now with the geopolitical situations and also the decoupling of supply chain, we create the big opportunity as a country like Malaysia. Okay? We are not taking side. For the businessman, I will say, regardless whether from China, from Europe, or even Japan, okay? Businessmen, they are responsible for shareholders. Yes, political is a big movement. Biden administration, do this, do that, okay, right? Malaysia, we are saying as a country, we don't take side. Talking about Malaysia, maybe I just talk a little bit about Malaysia advantage, okay? I've witnessed myself go through from the early days, 72 until now, Malaysia come to high-tech industry, export industry, foreign investment industry. This is a very pure haven, free of political interference. I will say even free of corruption, okay? So this is a very green area, okay, that you can be rest assured to invest here. Okay. Now the tsunami, because of geopolitical situation, is coming. Minister Rafiji said, tsunami is hitting us, it's onshore. Let's stop in Malaysia. My job to respond to this, okay, set up the VC fund. We have this VC fund with the mission, want to upskill the semiconductor supply chain. We cannot stay assembly and test. We need to go into advanced packaging. Lucky us, Intel invests $7 billion over US into this country, into Malaysia. Get more to come, many other companies are coming. So I truly believe tsunami, the wave of coming, is onshore now. Let's capture it. My fund, setting up with the mission to upskill the supply chain. We cannot stay in assembly and test. First, assembly and test site has to be advanced packaging in the wafer level. The other is an IC design field. Okay? In the early days, in the 90s, when I was running Intel, allow me to say that was the first company to move from assembly and test into the design area, mini microcontroller. That time, Intel Penang was managing microcontroller worldwide operation. So we have a lot of people. Okay, now, I was told 4,000 to 6,000 the engineer force, okay, in Intel alone itself. Okay. Also many other countries also into this field. So come to ecosystem, okay, that we build up. So it's conducive for IC design to grow further and further. The other one area I will say is advanced packaging. Okay, advanced packaging is the way to go because we all know Moore's law have reached the limit that for further growth. Okay, yeah, we may go to 5 nano, 2 nano, 1.8 nano, but advanced packaging is the way to go. Okay, a lot existing, especially local company. Okay, maybe Inari have a big advantage in this area that go into advanced packaging. But how about the rest? So we have to figure out how to get more technology, especially China, that they are constrained by nanotechnology. I think the advanced packaging technology is quite advanced, okay, a lot of company. So we need to get this wave over, grab it. The third area that my fund will focus is equipment. I mentioned like the big testing, the manufacturer, the Teradyne, just move out of the Suzhou. Why? It's difficult to get the most advanced chip. The sanctions from the United States on all this advanced technology to be in the country will be the hindrance for the growth. So they move back to Penang. So when I'm talking all this opportunity, not just limit to China, I will say Taiwan +1 for the businessman. Don't tell me the Taiwanese businessman will 100% obey to the law, the order of the country. Because country have no right, by right, okay? Any government to override the business decision because we are responsible to shareholders, right? Same thing apply to Europe. So in actual fact, sorry, I may take a little bit long time in this area. So I then learn how to make my mouth shut. Never mind. Okay, so even the Europe side, okay, I will say, a lot of company, I'm in contact with some company, hey, how to get the technology? how to get it over. So my fund, a small, started just a year, maybe shortly less than a year now. So we are going to raise a big fund, okay, to move forward and focus on 3 portfolio: advanced packaging, IC design, and equipment. I will say that this is an area, it's not just one fund can do. You need billion of dollars. I hope all the VC, the big bosses over here, is the time now to look at it, explore the opportunity. Malaysia is the environment, is the, I will say, the conducive, okay, for this area to grow. People ask me, how about Vietnam? How about Thailand? How about Indonesia? Right? They don't have this ecosystem. Okay, Malaysia is conducive. Okay, it's a favorable place for IC industry to grow further and further. I believe this opportunity, I urge all the VC, the big bosses and all this, grab it and explore and push it. I think I will say paradigm shift is important. Don't do electrician. The IC design area, I will say, especially VC, you need to hire the people with domain knowledge, okay? Must have a domain knowledge in this area. My fund just concentrate on semiconductor industry, 3 portfolio, like I just mentioned, okay? And focus, okay, just in this area. I hope we can help spearhead the momentum of moving towards that. Thank you very much.
PY, thank you very much, talking about 3 portfolios. It's part of the reason I'm here, PY, because I see Malaysia as a springbed for semiconductor innovation and growth. But I want to introduce my friend K.S. K.S., I consider Taiwanese and Malaysian. In fact, in Taiwan, we consider him the shining star of IC design. And so I'd like K.S. to introduce himself because his story is very exciting.
I just introduced myself already, so save time, okay? I pass to, the next.
K.S. K.S. is always humorous, so I'll let Dr. Armani talk about what she's doing. Dr. Armani?
Yeah, thank you for the KL20 organizers. I'm Amani. I'm from nanoSkunkWorkX. Hard to pronounce, yes. People ask me why there's a skunk in your or a startup name, but it's actually the ethos that we carry, which is actually a small group of people, talented engineers, trying to do impactful things. And one of the things we do is we make graphene dance in silicon. I'm the outlier here. I'm not the semiconductors, in the semiconductor space for a long time, and all of these people here. One of the things I do was, I do advanced materials. One of the things we solved was graphene and silicon. So I'll be talking a lot about that and how advanced materials technology that we do that doesn't depend on the regular clean room infra that is born from Malaysia can actually create the IP that anchors all the semiconductor technology here. So I will talk about that today.
Thank you, Dr. Armani. In fact, when we talked yesterday, we're not only talking to Dr. Armani about what's the limitation of AI in compute, but also in energy. So she'll be talking about graphene and other areas in advanced materials. And to say that's not related to semiconductors, the whole base is based on advanced materials. And I'll pass it on to KC. We were just talking about advanced materials. KC, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm KC Lau from Inari Amertron from Penang. I believe that a lot of you know Penang for the good food. Never forget, we have 50 years or more than 50 years right now with the leadership of Dato PY since day one, bring us to today. The industry actually is very, now it's very colorful because all the sexy company actually came to Penang right now. I never been seeing such a wonderful setup like Intel. My next Intel guy, okay, set up $7 billion US company in front of Inari. So every day I look at the building, I say, hey, when can we have such a building for Inari? I hope that we can catch up. Of course, that as what mentioned by Dato, we have a lot of opportunity right now. In fact, every week we have visitors from US, from Europe, and also from China. So this is overwhelming. And last but not least, I think just share a little bit about our company. We do a lot of assembly and test. okay, and also customization. One thing good about Penang, not for the good food, of course you can enjoy the side dish, okay, as the investor. You need to actually appreciate, we build a lot of ecosystem. In Penang, we have about probably 5,000 SME surrounded with a small island. 2 hours you can get through the islands with one full round. But we have such a wonderful connectivity with the multinational and also with the SME. And of course that we would like more and more multinational come forward so that you can use our facility and also enjoy how to venture into the advanced packaging. Okay, so stay tuned. Probably we will share more later. Thank you.
And I'll hand it off to CS of Intel.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. So I'm still a bit jet lagging, so you can tell I just arrived yesterday, so I'm fighting myself to recover from jet lag. So it's very funny thing is that I grew up in KL, but I myself have never been working in Malaysia in the past close to 3 decades. So I think this is a good event. Thank you for inviting me to share some of my past experience working, in Europe. Spent my 8 years in Taiwan, and then now I'm living in the Bay Area, working for Intel. So my job is basically to build the comprehensive IP ecosystem to support our Foundry customers. So that is my current job. So, so I think that when I look at this, the title of this panelist, I look at $1 trillion. But I just want to share, this is one of the most consensus number that's been shared by all the industry. But having said that, the $1 trillion today has not been addressed, the $7 trillion that's been asked by Sam Altman, the founder of ChatGPT. So I think probably it's true for 1 trillion, maybe till 2025, perhaps. But I think moving forward, this number can only be going up instead of going down. And also, this is another public news shared by Lisa Su, CEO of AMD. She believing that by 2028, the AI market itself could reach 400 million USD alone. So this also means it creates a lot of opportunity in this room here, right? If you can come up with a good innovation, I'm sure we are now at the beginning of the AI era. We are at the beginning of another spring yet to come, right?
Thank you, CS. Well, I just want to summarize a couple of things in their introductions, is that if you look at everyone here talking today, there's IP, there's advanced packaging, there's IC design companies, there's advanced materials. Those are all the cruxes of semiconductors, and I really want to congratulate KO20 for providing an all-star team of people that not only can seed, but grow the Malaysian semiconductor system for the next decade, 2 decades. Like CS said, not 1 trillion, maybe 2 trillion, maybe 3 trillion. And I also want to welcome you home as well. But first question I want to ask is, what is Penang known for? Packaging. And so I'm going to ask KC, could you give us a history of packaging and OSAT in Penang and going forward? And what do you see the trends are in advanced packaging as it relates to 2.5D and 3D?
Yeah, thank you. As just mentioned, I think briefly by Dato, I no need to repeat how good about the multinational being set up in Penang. But more importantly, I think talking about the local ecosystem, we have, as what I just now mentioned, we have probably about 5,000 SME, which cover a lot of customization. So that actually brings us to today. Many things actually we do it ourselves, localize it, and then we have a lot of IP for the assembly and test, which we think we can be more productive, more cost effective. That's for sure that we support the US, one of the branded US customer. Their product is not as easy, just plug and play. You need a lot of customization. So that you can find a lot of this customization house in Penang. Okay, like it or not, a lot of people still skeptical, saying that Penang is far behind in technology, but we do in the forefront. Okay, if you can't fulfill with this style of requirement, I don't think that your customer will stay with you for, our case is 17 years. Okay, so that is one point. Second point, I believe that a talent pool being set up since many decades ago, all the calibration, the understanding about the spec, the quality arena, how we can continue to go into or march towards on the advanced packaging. This actually being set, okay, being set means given the role for the local leader. Okay, we are not the 2.5 and 3D portion yet, but we have a chance talking to some of the AI guy. They try to use our captive line, meaning we try to work with them to customize something for them. So we have a chance. So this is an opportunity for us to grab as much as possible on the immediate needs plus the future needs. And including some of the memory guy we work with. If let's say you talk about a few years back, I think impossible for us to get this done. But now we have already captured the line in our factory. So never say never. Things will happen for a reason, and put our efforts together with the team in Penang and also with the global. I believe that things can be even better and more cost-effective in Penang. Yep.
Thank you. You were talking about the back end and the OSAT. I want to talk a little about the front end on the IP side. Can I ask you a question? What is Neoverse? What is CSS? And how do you see IP playing a big part in the whole ecosystem of IC design and also in Malaysia?
When I look at my fellow panelists, I realize that I'm the only panelist that is not the origin from Malaysia, but we are here to invest. We're here to invest in Malaysia. So talking about ecosystem, talking about the CSS compute subsystem, I have to touch upon the subject of system on chip, SoC. The reason I say SoC is because SoC is an IC that incorporates CPU, peripheral IOs, and a lot of other computing building blocks, whether it's an encryption, whether it's a video codec, whether it's a switch on a system on chip. So with that system on chip, you are able to operate very complex computation on a rich operating system like Linux, Android, or Windows. Now, with the progress in time and also with the advancement of the process, it will require a lot of different building blocks on the SoC. If you are going to design an SoC from scratch, it's probably going to take you like 10 years. So that's a reason we come up with the idea of IP business, because we supply our IP to our customers, whether it's Phison or other partners, so that they are able to build on their own silicon based on the ecosystem we build up. But now, as I mentioned earlier, the whole IC, the whole silicon is getting bigger and bigger with the trend to incorporate more complex software solution into one chip. So there are a lot of computation building blocks in the SoC. If you look at data center, it's easily like, oh, this is like 120 or 128 cores of the Neoverse CPU. Hey, think about this. 128 cores. Its computing power is strong, but look at the complexity. So we receive a lot of demand from our customers. CK, can you help us to reduce the time to market? That's a reason we say, wow, okay, for specific markets like IT infrastructure, we say, wow, maybe we can have a pre-integrated, pre-verified system, including our, for example, like 32 cores of our Neoverse N2, plus the whole fabric. And this is, because this is pre-integrated, you just take it forward, and you can use this subsystem, compute subsystem, to build upon based on whatever you are going to do, whether it's you are doing AI accelerator, or you are doing a video acceleration, accelerator, or you are doing a DPU. That is something you can go along to build your silicon faster than ever. Yeah, so I think that is the idea of compute subsistence, CSS. And earlier I talked about we are shipping like roughly more than 8 billion of the ARM silicon every quarter. The reason being why we are able to achieve this is because it's easy. We are able to simplify the design for our customers. We are able to reduce the time to market for our customers. We are able to reduce the overall cost for our customers. But people will go, hey, we need to pay you license fee, need to pay you royalty. Yes, of course. There's no free lunch in the world, right? But the thing is, if you accumulate all the costs together, your development cost, your customers' cost together, I'm pretty sure if you are able to build your silicon based on whether it's the silicon in the data center or your silicon running on the sensor devices, yeah, I have high confidence it is the most cost-effective silicon in the world.
Thank you. We talked about the back end, we talked about IP, we're going to talk about a company, Intel, that is on pretty much from front end to back end. They only have Foundry, they have IP, they literally have everything. So CS, I want to ask you a question. What is chiplets? People talk about chiplets all the time. And if you can, maybe, even though it may be somewhat too technical for the audience here, talk a little bit about HBM, UCIe. What is DDR5? What is DDR6? Can you talk about that? And let's bring it to align what the back end and the IP is. Right. CS?
So I probably need to ask for 1 hour if I have to touch on every single base, but just kidding. So long and short, the UCI, the bond of UCIe is basically to support the chiplet strategy. Why chiplet? Because first of all, the Molo, as Dato Lai said, hit the slower pace of Molo, meaning the economic scale of the SoC is no longer whole if we continue to doing the same way. And therefore, this is the bond of the chiplet. You think about the chiplet, you think about like a tile, like the IP block of the SoC, where you can actually, it allows the engineer to basically to partition the system into different tiles, right? And then all this, you can use the IP called UCIe to connect to each other. You can think about the block like a puzzle, right? So the engineers can actually make an intelligent decision to decide maybe for the high performance CPU like ARM CSS, they want to put on the advanced process nodes. For those I/O power management, maybe let's put it on the mature technology nodes, right? Like Intel 16, like other process nodes like 22, 28, things like that. So the UCIe is basically would be enables all these connectivities. The interoperability, literally the zero latency between the block, that enabling these innovations, right? And on the high-end side, we see that the market actually keep pushing for the HBM, which is the high bandwidth memory, right, that require by the high-end GPU customers, right? So like NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, right? So the speed is actually the way I see it, right? Because I work closely with the IP ecosystem. It basically is just drive the speed crazily. You need the best performance. I want the customer always say, I want the best performance. I want the lowest possible power, but I want the time to market remain no time, right? So we are actually into this era where the time to market windows remain the same, but the complexity of the SoC, the chip design, basically is exponentially grow. So in order to do that, IP become a very critical component of the entire semiconductor industry. And therefore, I think this serves a very good opportunity for everyone here to really rethink about maybe it's a good time for Malaysia or Asian country to really invest heavily into building your IP to serve the global customers.
Thank you, CS. I'm just going to elaborate that. In chiplets, there's the CPU die, there's the memory die, there's the I/O die. We really should talk a little bit about storage and memory controllers. So I want to hand it off to K.S., who is a leader in SSD controllers. And K.S., I hope you can talk about AI adaptive, because there's the whole, people talk about NVIDIA and AI servers. Can you talk about adaptive and also about AI workstations and what your vision in this space is? And how do you see this playing a big part in Malaysia?
I always use example. When I was graduated from university 20 plus years ago, professor keeps saying that the factory no need to use human, no manual, they can use a robot arm. But by year 2000, robot arm, one set of robot arm cost like $500,000 US. The factory boss know they need to use, but they are not affordable to use because too expensive. So for 20 years, after 20 years, the robot arm now costs down to $5,000. So you can see now a lot of factory, not only in China, US, but also Malaysia. A lot of factory is no more human, no more manual, is everything automatic. Okay, so this is something we refer to today is about generative AI. People know generative AI will be the must in your life. It's a need in our life. But if you go to talk to your boss, okay, my engineer came to me last year, June. They said, boss, now we have to use Gen AI to train our design, our firmware, our Verilog. I said, good, let's do it. But boss, I need to buy 3 sets of a DGX. I asked, how much? He said, $2 million. My answer is simple, hey, no money. Go back. Yeah, seriously. I said, hey, no budget. Go back, forget it. Too expensive. I know I need to use it, but I'm sorry, I got no budget. So my engineers, after they back to their lab, they try to find a way. Actually, my engineers is a kind of genius. They invented one solution, okay? When you talk about the AI, you know the GPU, you know H100, you're familiar with the HBM, even though you don't know what's the HBM, okay? Expensive? My people, they took out the DRAM, put our design SSD. We customize the SSD, put the SSD into the platform. They design a middleware, cheat the GPU. That I'm a memory, I'm HBM. And they make it. They make it. The path is proven. So they came back to me, boss, we can make it, but how's the performance? Performance versus H100 is only 0.1%. Good, but not good to use. But while they prove it, this is able to happen, then I say, oh, okay, now it's time. I give you resource, I give you money, I give you budget, I give you equipment. So they spent the other 3 months, they made the things happen. Performance can be up to 10 to 12% versus high performance GPU. So then I believe if we can make this to commercial from, let's say $2 million to $40,000, means 2%. Then we lower the intro ticket of the equipment. And I believe like robot, 500K to 5K. This will help the market start to use this we call adaptive. But from the equipment to user, they still have a long way to go. Now in Taiwan, also in Malaysia, just now I talked to some developers here. They have a lot of opportunity to build the software, applications, user interface, system declaration, consulting, service. This is a good for startup. This is good for business. So believe within 12 months, no matter in Malaysia, in Taiwan, in Indonesia, in India, when they realize this is workable, we can see these things, adaptive is going to be very popular. And after a year, you can easily to use this our invention for your generative AI. So last, you know cloud computing, you know edge computing. Phison, we name this is home computing. You buy equipment, put your home, you don't need internet. You own your own data in your home. You own your own data in office. You train your own data by yourself. So this is adaptive.
Thank you, K.S., for giving you a vision of home computing and your vision on adaptive. We're talking about, most of everyone here is talking about silicon, and most here people are talking about compute. And when we talk about compute, people sometimes forget about energy efficiency. So I want to hand it off to Dr. Amani. Can you talk about how we move up the semiconductor value chain? Can you talk about your solution, not in silicon, but in carbon, specifically in graphene? Can you? Thank you.
Thank you. Before I tell about compute and energy, I'll talk a bit about the history about what we do, all right? So when I came back from, I was doing work for NASA and I was designing sensors for their nano satellite. I noticed a limitation in one thing, which is I'm an EE trained electrical engineer. I noticed that limitation in a lot of the devices I use and the design for it is limited by materials. So realizing that, at that time when I was doing work in a clean room 16 hours a day, I realized that a lot of the work that people doing that time was about graphene, and they were using these E-beam, CVD machines, huge machines. I can't even lift it sometimes, to deposit graphene on silicon and carbide and so forth. So I came back to Malaysia 2014 after the launch of a satellite called Sporsat. I had a struggle here, which is access to Foundry to do my fabrication work. I'm from university that's not a research university, so I don't have access. And I was like, how do I create innovation when I don't have access to these things? Because I don't have access to CVD machine, and I was working in the United States, I decided to basically start from a blank slate and start opening the textbooks and so forth. And what we do was that we come up with a new process technology that can deposit graphene on silicon, copper, carbon without the need of CVD machines. And because of that, we managed to build devices without access to Foundry, using the solutions born from local laboratories. Starting from that was that we managed to structure graphene like Lego on silicon and copper, ITOs, and other substrates. So I said, what can this do to the semiconductors? So a couple months ago, with our own money, we basically decorate copper with graphene. And we found out an improvement, twice improvement in thermal conductivity compared to copper. And we also found out increase in 40% compared to copper electrical conductivity in lab data, which I need to, of course, scale up and prove more. But I found interesting properties. So I said there could be something revolutionary from the process we do in the lab that can contribute to the semiconductor industry. So we went a roadshow to Penang and talked to some semiconductor local guys. And they were very helpful, thanks to the Penang ecosystem, Dato. Penang people don't talk enough. I'm from Penang, and people don't talk enough about the innovations and the wonderful things that these tech people do in Penang. And they were like, it's okay, Dr. Amani, let's work together and let's find a place for this technology. So I found was that the technology where we managed to decorate graphene on copper, on silicon, and so forth, we position it sort of in the equipment space. As Dato said, there's an equipment side. So we look into Lam Research, who do the equipment side, and we found out, oh, this could be a niche where we could enter. So we've positioned ourselves in between these Foundry guys and also the IC. So we're the equipment person groups, and I think that's how we want to position our startup, nanoSkunkWorkX. So just to add a little bit to answer Tim's question just now, my co-founder, who's a tech enthusiast and really into semiconductor space, MIT grad, and he's doing the finance side of our startup, but he's a tech person. And he said, look, Mark Zuckerberg just said something about that the next limitation in AI and so forth is maybe not compute, but maybe it is energy. I think when I resonate to that, maybe we can solve the GPU's problems. But then maybe we can, but then there will also be limitations in terms of energy, where if you build more complex computation and so forth in AI, and I think what happened was you might be limited by the materials that you use in terms of having better heat dissipation. So I think materials can basically solve this issue. So from our work at nanoSkunkWorks, we think that if we position ourselves as an equipment manufacturer for decorating and structuring graphene like Legos on copper silicon, and put this as interconnects in all of these devices that semiconductor industry are relating to, we could solve the next issue of what will happen with AI and so forth. So I think it's a very exciting time. I would like to touch also about with what the speakers were saying about talent. And I do believe that we have the talent here, but we need to have the magnet, the drawing factor to pull this talent back into Malaysia. And I think the Penang space have these exciting opportunities, and now is in KL, and our lab, of course, in KL, so we can basically diversify, you know, our space in this semiconductor. And I think the geopolitics has given us opportunities. And Malaysia is a neutral ground, a safe ground for us to do innovation. And I think this is where my friends in Apple, in Google, in Santa Clara, and so forth, would want to come back. They would want to find something where the innovation can be plugged in and make an impact to Malaysia. And I think we, nanoSkunkWorks, I was 18 years in the US. I came back. I'm driving this, you know, with help from parts of the government, with help from the Penang semiconductor ecosystem, with parts from the KL innovation ecosystem. We can basically generate, anchor the IP, Malaysia IP here, and draw all of the technology. And I would remind everybody when IBM decided to change aluminum to copper, there was innovation in the hardware side that generates the software innovation that comes along. And imagine if our technology that anchors graphene to silicon will create the next wave of innovation. And I think that's what we aspire to be as nanoSkunkWorks. And I think bringing graphene, integrating to copper, creating our own equipment to do that will generate this next innovation wave. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amani. And you were talking about the limited materials. There's a limit of time for a gentleman here today. It's CK. Unfortunately, a couple hours ago, he told me that the Prime Minister is asking him for a special meeting. So, CK, thank you for joining us. Please leave as soon as you can for this meeting. I hope to see ARM land in Malaysia in a big way. Thank you. And for everyone, please give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Dato PY, you're a luminary in this industry. You were talking earlier about why you decided to do a VC firm. After hearing everyone in this panel, can you talk about why you think an investment is the right time now, and why are you doing this? I want to ask your opinion about this, and give your opinion of what everyone has said today. We talked about IP, we talked about advanced packaging, we talked about materials, we talked about the whole gamut of the semiconductor industry. What opportunities do you see, and what do you see in Malaysia, not now, but 10 years from now?
I'm quite optimistic about Malaysia in the semiconductor side, because, like I say, especially this time, the tsunami. Okay, you look at, if my memory is right, our Prime Minister talked about our investment 180 billion, right, that kind of level. Okay, more to come, I will say, because there is a need for that. Talking about future, okay, 10 years down the road. So we really need to talk about the government policy, okay, because we are depending heavily on multinational. We could need to continue to attract high-quality multinational. But multinational, in terms of policy, we cannot have a generic policy. We have been 50 years now, okay? So you look at Taiwan, they are just almost the same time with us, maybe 2 years earlier, right? Singapore, Korea, in China, they're 10 years, 15 years behind us in terms of a globalization wave. Today, we still stay assembly and test. Okay, that area, I will say, need focus, focus and focus. Okay, we need paradigm shift in terms of government policy. When we have the government policy, okay, we need local player. That's why my fund, talking my fund, set up this, okay, capture the opportunity, focus the 3 portfolio, which I believe a lot of potential for all PC fund. I think we need to participate in this area. IC design, let me repeat, advanced packaging, because the limits of the Moore's law. The third one is the equipment. Okay, today Malaysia is doing very well in the automation group. You look at all these listed company, Grid Tech, Pentamaster, all these are doing well. Okay, and the technology that you go to visit them, actually they're very good technology. Okay, they master. So Malaysia has a talent, and the location is right. Okay, so what we need is execution. Come to execution, and come to policy level side. Today's, by the way, MIDA have done an excellent job. You look at the foreign investment, all this. Can we continue? We still need to continue, but we need to help local industry. I'm so glad to see Mr. Poa, the Pan Shensen, they come back here to help to push the IC area, okay, the fabless side, okay. This is very good move, okay. And then the Selangor government have done an excellent job and also the Ministry of Economy doing an excellent job to get our friend over here, fellow Malaysian, 30 years away to come back. Okay, let me back to focus again. I talk about policy requirement. Okay, we really look at the multinational. We cannot 10-year, 9-year pioneer status. Yes, we newcomer, but existing one, we have really look at them. What value add that you have add on? Okay, value add. I mentioned about it in the year 82, when I was first MD, promoters MD, I participated because Tunku Rasale, our former finance minister, stopped the incentive. There is very low value add. Until the administration, we lobby it, change around, until today still continue. We need to continue with a lot of policy, but we have to look at what value add they have add on. We should measure them into automation, into upskilling the industry, into the packaging design area, into the R&D area, so that he can qualify for extension of the tax holiday. Okay, so the other is a help local, the spin-off, like today, like Intel move into the advanced packaging. How I wish, if I were Intel managing director again, I will move all this traditional packaging technology out and give to local. And local will learn from that, and then you create a more value chain. So we need to help the local industry. You look at today, how many, even though we are proud, the Inari, we have Pentamaster, we have V-Trucks and all this big company, okay? How many of them? Put the finger up. 10 over, listed company, and that's it. So we need policy, how to encourage government policy, also multinational, to give incentive, how to help to grow the local industry. Okay, they're very important. Upskill the industry, come to IC design area. How many IC design houses today? If it depends on local, organic growth. That's why we have to capitalize, like today China have 3,000 over design houses, fabless design houses. Do they need 3,000 over? Too fierce competition. Just in Suzhou alone, 160 or 150 fabless design house. You look at Malaysia, how many design houses? Ask ourselves, put the finger up. Very few. So we cannot depend on organic growth. We have to work on to attract 3,000 over design houses. Look at the opportunity today that our Minister Rafiji put up the GPU. I look at the number GPU as a focus. What's GPU? Okay? It's more for AI that the use, okay, for that, okay? GPU. So can China, US try to slow down China, okay? Especially in the AI side, hardware side, okay? So how many companies can build GPU? Say 5 nano technology? Only 2 companies in the world, TSMC and Samsung, and that's it. So where can they build? Not all China tells you self-sufficient, they will take times. So Malaysia is the place, okay, that we can talk about. Come to this area, I will say that Singapore has a lot of design, a lot of fab houses, fab. Okay, I mean 5 or 6 of them, UMC before Semiconductor, the Charter Semiconductor, today called Global Foundry, 6 or 7 of them, maybe. I lost count of that. You ask me, any reason to be located in Singapore? No land, no water? For their to build the AI infrastructure, maybe they need that. Actually, it's not conducive to go there. Allow me to say that. Maybe our Singapore friend may not be happy with that. I'm saying it. Okay? This should be in Johor, ask me. If not, Sarawak. Johor, because complementing with all this AI. A lot of people talk about AI, okay? I do say, we don't have enough talent in this country to talk about AI. All the AI talent, print power, mini United States. You ask all these people who live, say that a lot of Chinese over there, how I wish we can attract them to come to Malaysia. But Singapore is the first of choice, okay? So for that, fabulous design, all this, I think we'll do well in Singapore. Our side, they come to this area, or I use a Mandarin to say, okay, this is Singapore's center. This is the base. If I have to set up the company, I would say I need 1,000 engineer. I put maybe 100 and 200 in Singapore. There's a brain power because we can attract people from the United States, top talents over there. Okay, over here I will put 800 IC designer. So from there we grow from there. Okay, so talking how to grow this $1 trillion market, the pieces are in Malaysia. In my mind, okay, I always say if you execute right, focus right, paradigm shift, not in a traditional way, out of the box thinking, how to move forward. Okay, I don't have a total solution today to talk about it. Okay, we need to sit down with the policymaker, engineer the solution. Okay, come to high tech. I always want to say, get politics out of it in decision making. Okay, your politics in decision making in all this high tech area, okay, doomed for failure, I would say. Quite confident to say that. Okay, maybe time's up for me. I say my belief, Malaysia's future is very bright. We have all the ecosystem. We have all the people. Okay, compared to our ASEAN country, I will say that's far behind us. They're just starting today. Okay, they don't have the ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato P.Y. But I think you forgot to mention one thing. I think the food in Malaysia is better than the food in Singapore. Having said that, I want to thank everybody here to talk about venture, fabless IC, IP, advanced packaging, advanced materials. This $1 trillion industry in Malaysia is priceless. Thank you very much for everyone here today. Thank you.
Thank you once again to all of our esteemed lineup of panelists for sharing with us your thoughts and expertise. Truly insightful indeed, and I'm sure to all of us here we've picked up a few nuggets of wisdom of advice from our speakers here today. And thank you very much to Timothy as well for the phenomenal job moderating this session. Now we do have one more sharing session before we take a short eco break or coffee break for some. So do hang on with us, just a short 10-minute presentation as we share a little bit more about the Golden Pass Showcase. I believe our Minister of Economy has shared with us a little bit about the pass earlier on during his presentation, but just give us a few moments. Let us set up the stage again for our final presentation before we move on to a short eco break.